Hey, how you doing? It's good to have you here. We are talking about grid displays today. Really easy and super useful concept. It's a display within our CSS. So let's jump right in. Please fork this sandbox. It's just a blank sandbox like normal. I've already done that and got mine forked. Let's rename this. We're gonna rename this uh, grid display. Sure. Yeah, cool. Make sure to keep this all organized. So we'll do that really quick here. Go down. There's my grid display, and I'm gonna throw this. We're getting towards the end of Unit 1. That's probably getting pretty filled up here. And fantastic. Let's jump back in. All right. So we're going to be putting in the following code. I don't need to look at this right now. Let's put in our document declaration type. Great, that doesn't have a closer. We got our HTML, boom, and this is, we'll put in a language, sure, English type US. Great. And then within there, of course, we got our body, booyah, and before that, we have our header. Great. Different than the header, which is a different answer. All right. So within our head, we are going to put a link to our style sheet. That's going to be located inside the CSS folder, and then we'll call it styles.css here. And booyah, what else we want to do here? Oh, of course, we'll declare a type, and we'll call this text/css, so they know, browser knows what to expect here. Great. And that'll have a closer. And we also want to, let's give it a title, of course. It's always cool to have those, and we'll call this grid display. S-P-L-A-Y. Great. And into the body, we are putting a few items that all look the same. So notice if you just start to type the tag, like we want this to be a P tag, I can just type P and then press tab, and that'll autofill along with the end. That's really nice. And we'll put in item 1. And since all these are going to be the same, except for the number, I'm going to use a quick key here that I recommend you learn. It's Shift Option down if you have on Macs. For PC, I believe it's the Shift Alt down. You could also do Shift Alt up, and they'll create, and what that does is it copies the line you're on and then duplicates it right below. If you do press the up button, then it duplicates it right above. So it's really helpful. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we just want these to be counting. Oh, fantastic. Okay, and I believe that's all we need here. Command S is save, and you'll notice boom, boom, which also, of course, once it, and as everything saves, our project is updating and saving as it goes. What does this look like here? Boom. Hey, as expected, we got, these are all block elements, so of course they each end up on their own line. Fantastic. Now, here's the idea. Let's even make it more clear that they are block elements by giving them some CSS. So let's create that right now. Styles.css. Fantastic. Enter. There's our styles, which we link to right there in the href of our link. Excellent. Let's see if we are linked up. I'll just grab all the paragraphs and I'll make their color red, just to see if we're linked up here. And then when I look at this and refresh, oh yeah, awesome. So the CSS is linked up to your to the HTML. Make sure yours is. And let's see what they want us to do here. We are asked at this point to add some simple, okay, yep, great. Just to look at these different elements as boxes. Let's add a border. Yep. We'll make it pixels solid. What did I pick here? Blue velvet. And we'll also give it a margin. So just to be clear, boom, save it. That's what that did, right? We got rid of that color of red, and now we have that border going on. And just, that's fine. What did I do? I also gave it a margin. Sure. 2 pixels, just so that we can see these different things, and they're kind of close at this point. Fine. Now, here's the idea. What if we wanted these items all to be in 3 columns? Yeah. What if we're looking at this? Let's look at this as a pop-out as its own, because we are making websites. All right. Let's say we want this in 3 columns. We don't just want it all in one line. We want it 1, 2, 3 columns. A really helpful way of doing that is going to be with the grid display. If you want these to appear like a grid, right? So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to take all of these paragraphs and we're going to wrap them inside of a div, a divider as it were. And divs come with a closer, so I'll put the closer here. And then all of these I'll want tabbed in. Yeah, because these are all children. These are all nested inside of their parent, that div. And we're going to give that div a class. And we'll give it the class, what did I want to give it the class of here, just to start to follow, yeah, item grid. We'll call it item grid, because it's going to be our grid of items. Sure, you can call it whatever you want. I'll call it item grid. If it's 2 words, gotta be hyphenated. Whoa, GFID. Okay, so now these guys are all within the item grid, and what we're going to do is we're going to target that here in our CSS and item grid, and because it's a class, it starts with a period. When we were targeting, of course, the paragraph, that is a block item, so it doesn't get any kind of like prefix like a dot or anything. All right, now within the item grid, which is all these guys, that's the thing wrapping all those guys, we're going to say display them as a grid, so the property display as a grid, and we're going to give it a template. That is a way to, like, because it's like grid, well, grids exist, there are all kinds of grids. You want little grids, big grid, like you want little boxes, what do you want it to look like? We're going to say we want the grid template columns. We'll define it based on the columns, how many up downs we want this column, and the way we're going to do it is in terms of the unit frames. FR 1 FR 1 FR 1 FR. Okay, and this is a relational. Now when I press save, voila, we now have those 1, 2, 3 columns. Let's look at a full page. Does it do it here as well? Yes, absolutely. And if you resize the page, then you'll notice that it continues to maintain those that relationship. Yep. So what's going on here is this is a relational kind of unit where it says whatever this is, make it one of them, one of them, one of them. If, for example, I wanted this first column to be twice as wide as the other ones, I'd say 2 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. And when I save it, boom, check it out. Now this first column is twice as wide as these other 2 columns. If I wanted to add another column, no problem, you just add a 1 FR, save it, booyah, and you know, feel free to play with it. That's pretty much how it works. Now, you didn't need to use the unit frames. I really like using that for this kind of deal, but definitely you could go in terms of let's see here, we could change this to pixels, for example. What? But probably not. So if we wanted something that looked more like could have done that more efficiently. Here we go. It would look not great because, of course, 10 pixels is not very wide, but if we want like 100 pixels, 100 pixels, 100 pixels, boom, that's maybe a little bit more reasonable. And then if you have something like that, then it's defined as pixels, right? And so it won't change. Whoops, refresh. And then it won't change based on resizing of the screen, which sometimes you'll want that instead. You'll want a defined, not relative unit. So have fun, play with it. That's how grids work. Grid display, just set the, just put all of the items that you want displayed, and those could be images, that could be like paragraphs, that could be headers, that could be any kind of element inside of here. No problem. You just wrap it all in the div or whatever it's wrapped in, and then give that wrapper the properties of displaying a grid, and then you got to tell it what kind of grid you want it to display. Yep. All right, cool. Have fun, play with these things. Happy coding.